Hello and welcome to another video tutorial Monday. This week I'll be showing you how to use some spray ink. I have this stuff from Studio Calico. They're called Mr. Hueys and I have them in several colors. They sell them in they've released about 20 colors so far, and they work wonderfully, and I've used them on several scrapbooking pages, but I don't think I've ever used one on a card. So I just wanted to try that out today. So I'm using this lemonade one, and it's kind of a sunshiny color. They follow the color of the labels really closely, so that's how you can tell by looking at the bottle. And I'm going to do just a little simple masking. So I'm actually just going to set up everything in this shoebox here. You can use whatever cardboard box or something that you have on hand. And yeah, it just helps contain the spray. If you just spray it on a piece of paper, it gets behind the area and the air carries it pretty easily. So it's good to have a box to contain it in. And then I just have this scrap piece of paper. I just made it blue so that I could tell the difference between the white on camera. And I'm just going to punch out several hearts from this Stampin' Up! Punch. And I'm just going to punch this out, 4 or 5 times. And now I'm going to lay out all my hearts on the piece of paper. And anywhere that I lay a heart, the ink won't go. So I just have to keep that in mind. And I'm just going to place them pretty randomly all over the card. And now that I have them placed down, I don't have them glued down or anything, I just place them right on top. But since the ink will be coming from the top and it's not going to be pressed in or anything like that, it should be fine and it should mask off the area just fine. And you can do this with any type of material, as long as it kind of absorbs the ink and it doesn't go right through it. You can use chipboard, wood veneer, anything that you have really. And so I'm just going to go ahead and spritz down onto my project. And you can see I really like those splatters. So what I'm going to do actually is untwist this thing from its bottle and kind of flick it on here, because I really like those spots and I think it adds that cool sunshiny effect. And now I'm going to add some more of the spray because I want it to be a little bit brighter. Alright, so now that I have it thoroughly sprayed, I'm just going to let it dry for a few seconds. This dries relatively quickly when it's not in big blobs like it is on the cardboard here. So it should be ready to go in about a minute, but I just want to make sure that it dries so that I don't smear anything. Okay, so I've let everything dry for a minute or so, and now I can just carefully pick this up and dump the punch pieces off, and we have this really cool kind of splotchy inked background, which was really simple and easy to do. I just love it. So now what we can do is set all this stuff to the side. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this to my background. But first I'm going to ink the edges very lightly with some pumice stone distress ink, just to kind of get rid of that unfinished edge. And you can see I can already touch the paper. It's not smearing the ink or anything. It does feel a little bit damp to the touch, but it doesn't smear, which is something that I really like about spray ink. At least this kind of spray ink works really well. So I've glued my misted piece down onto my card base, which this card base is Smoky Shadow cardstock from Paper Tray Ink, by the way. So it's a nice gray and yellow combination. I love those two colors together. And now I'm going to add in some blue. And since this is a yellow color, I chose the Aqua Mist, which is more of a yellowy blue than, say, Spring Rain is, which is more of a true light blue. And so I have this strip of cardstock that I want to use for my title. And then I'm going to be using this sentiment from the Signature Series Flower from Paper Tray Ink and Dawn McVeigh, the Wishing You Blue Skies and Sunshine. And I'm just going to stamp this in Memento Black. I do have some gray ink that I just ordered from Sukaneko, which is their London Fog color, I believe. So I'm excited to get that and try that out. But I don't have that right now, so I'm just going to use black. Okay, and now that I have that stamped, I think I'm going around the corners with my 1/4 inch. And then I'll ink it up with some pumice stone ink, just like I inked the background piece. And I'll just adhere this down to my card. I'm not going to use dimensional adhesive on this because I wanted to keep it relatively flat. So I'm trying this new one out. It's the Scotch Adhesive Dot Roller. And although I love my ATG, but I like to try new stuff every once in a while because who knows? And I'm curious. So we'll add this on here. And I think I like it right about here. I can ink up that edge just to kind of round it off there. And then I think I just want to add a couple of gemstones. You know, I can't go without adding gemstones on things. And you know what? I think I'm going to kind of switch it up on this a little bit. I'm going to, these are from Hero Arts, by the way. They're Hero Hues, the blue ones, which are called C mixed accents. And I'm going to use a lot of the colors on this instead of just using one. So I'm going to use that gem and then maybe some of these medium ones to go out from this corner. And I think that'll look really cool. And I was thinking about the third place to put the accents because I don't want them in just 2 places on the card. And what I decided I want to do is add some white stitching across the card to kind of offset the area where the sentiment is. So what I'm going to do is actually just use a ruler as a guide, not actually to draw the line against really, but I'm going to put the ruler here just to make sure I'm going kind of straight and go across this yellow part with some dashed lines. And then I'll do the same thing, the same distance away from the bottom of the sentiment strip here. So now with these dashed lines as guidelines, I can go and add my third little line of pearls over here. There we go. So I really like how those various gems kind of really added some spunk and flair to the eclectic mix of this card. And you can see it has some awesome texture with the mist. That's just really cool. I really like how that inking effect looks. So it looks completely different than something you could do with, say, Distress ink. So that's why it's really cool to have them around to play with. So here's the finished card for this week, and here's the close-up. And thank you very much for watching this week, and I will catch you again next week on another video tutorial Monday.